Ishkode is an indigenous native Indian who is within a politics Discord server designed for the discussion and debate of political issues, topics, or figures. I don't tend to assume much without any context or history behind a person, but Ishkode seems to be a racist native Indian on an agenda to revive tribal society for day-to-day life. I'm going to walk you through some examples of his claims first, and then break down his many and certainly bold claims with direct proof on screen to show the absurdity of some of his many, many claims. I doubt he will stop. Here is his first claim on the screen. Now some of you at home, or wherever you are, may be laughing at this blatant stupidity, but we need to show him professionally why this claim is frankly wrong. He has two subsequent claims in this image, but I'll count it as one just to save on time here. So apparently, he is debating with a good friend of mine, Jerry, about the colonization of America, a well-known and documented event that is taught to Native Americans during school years, school education. He first claims that both Southern America and Northern America were inhabited, that means dominated by a population, race or creature, and he claims that both Southern America and North America were inhabited by brown races. That, in of itself, is rather vague. Does he mean African American or Hispanic? It's just too vague, and it also implies strong racism already, but we'll get back to that much later. Keep your ears peeled for the loopback. He also claims that the colonization of America was an invasion, and that it failed within his subsequent secondary claim, both of which are untrue if you or your family has a basic grasp of history. He uses what he stated as an example to try and make Jerry's statements look bad in comparison. However, the logic simply doesn't add up. African Americans within America didn't invade to be there in the first place, but of course, Ishkode doesn't have an understanding of history, something that you'll see as we go on here he also claims to have, which he doesn't. If you knew anything about the colonization of America, it has a very riddled history with multiple countries involved. Mine is not exempt. Okay, let's move on to an attached claim here. Before we go to the secondary claim, I want to break down and discuss. Apparently, Europeans made nothing and invented nothing before the era of colonization. I'll have some images on screen of famous inventions invented by Europeans before the colonial era, as well as some documented events and general examples of European culture and cities, as well as wars. Quite a bold claim, isn't it? Oh yes, it's one of many that he has done and will continue to do so. He goes on to claim that, and I quote, "Me and an African friend went over the stuff white folks claim credit for, and the only successes before colonization are some bland vegetables and the piano." Again, many of you may be laughing at the audacity of this Dumbo here, but let's break it down. He first backs up his previous claim with a reinforced viewpoint, as well as indicating he is racist against white people, and making the point that the success of controlled farming and breeding of vegetables, as well as the invention of a musical instrument used all over the world, are to him insignificant. My, it appears we have a genius on our hands. Vegetables are not only sold in markets and retail stores all over the globe, but are also responsible for a vast sum of food that we, humans, eat and need to survive on a daily basis. Pianos, on the other hand, are seen as a beautiful musical instrument which is used all over the globe also, and widely respected both as an instrument and if you are a musician that can play it. This is backed up with thousands of industries that are well established within the piano market. In addition to this claim, he claims right after that the established superpower nation known as America is a, and I quote, "group of white people squatting on someone else's land." Quite a bold, and stupid claim, but let's break that down before we move on to good stuff. Squatting implies that you're on someone else's property without paying rent or contributing to their property in a decent or human way. Ironically, this word was invented by white people. I might have an article or photo of that on screen now, might not, but America has already been colonized and had its tough and brutal history of that So that statement in itself is a paradox and hypocritical. This implies that native Indians own the land, and that if someone is there first, they own it, not you. If that's the case, in Ishkode's warped mind, then black people own everything and should be bowed down to. No, correction, dinosaurs own everything, so we should all just give up and die. No, a further correction here, Rinkosaurs own everything, so we should just die. Moving on, let's move on to the main secondary claim that I'll break down. Here is where he gets personal, and after several lines of text, paragraphs and discussion, generally, submitted by other members, he decides to finally acknowledge my existence and words. Apparently, I am, and I quote, spouting random shit instead of sticking to the topic, and legitimately ignoring stuff to avoid the actual discussion, question mark. So instead of, in an informed and sensible way, responding to my questions, argument points and paragraphs, he decides to insult first, and then ask another insulting question designed to discredit me and induce a reaction of some sort. Well, A, it doesn't work, and B, you just make yourself look worse, and others will not be so likely to talk with you or debate with you if that's all you do in response to legitimate arguments and key counterpoints. Next up is his claim that I can't pass off my own claims, and I am upset whenever somebody challenges my claims. Now, what did he do in the previous screenshot? I think someone is more upset than me. I wonder why I have a moderator position within multiple servers, and why I am still in the server. I even asked him for permission to make this very video that you are watching. After that debacle is his third claim, which I admit, yes, I did mute him. Yes, there was a bit of a small tussle with me and another very respected member of the Discord politics server, but can you really blame me? He goes on to, as you can see, claim I am crying, and that I wanted to mute him for responding to me. But as you guys have seen, he took his sweet, sweet time to respond to me, and then responded with insults, racism, and xenophobia. Anytime he deems you as unimportant, he labels you as ranting. And when his behaviour is mirrored, he loves, and I mean loves, to backtrack and try to show a different image compared to his earlier behaviour. Now, with all this in mind, all these different points of history, the heated discussion of the colonisation of America, he comes out with this banger, and I quote, "The hell do the British have to do with anything?" Gee, I really do wonder how America was colonised, and who by? This refers back to me earlier, saying he has no grasp of history, which is demonstrated in this screenshot perfectly, and others I have shown throughout this video. Furthermore, in this screenshot he claims such an amount of stuff that I really do wonder if he has autism, or if it's just late at night. Apparently, according to Ishkode, Europeans did poorly with resources. The native Indians had cities on water, and Europeans squatted in Roman ruins waiting patiently like a lapdog for technology inventions from Asia to magically float over and help them. Europeans definitely did badly with resources if we had multiple military battles, both naval and on land, and entire trading empires and networks. Right? It's just stupid if you have a basic grasp of history. If you know anything about Rome, when it fell, it was celebratory for the other natives of the landmass as Rome had conquered and oppressed other nations in its desire for glory. Romans had also invented many engineering feats, philosophical ideas, and mathematical items which we still use today, such as the calendar, sundial, and heated flooring. But of course, according to Ishkode, none, and I mean none of that, ever happened.